compounding still does work in your 40s, there is probably just less margin for error. So let's go over that today. Clearly, the younger you are when you start investing, the better you're going to do. We all regret having not started investing when we're 18, but the reality is we're in our 30s, we're in our 40s now. We want to take control of our financial future. Is it too late? Well, I don't believe it is. Let me go over a few bits that hopefully will help you to get started investing, or at least keep going if you already have. Now, in this age group, life gets busy. You've got kids, you've got mortgages, you've got jobs. You're probably at the top of your earning potentially, or you at least are at the highest level in terms of your stress at work because you've probably got more responsibilities. You've got a decade or two of experience behind you, and you probably think you don't have time to start investing, but you are starting to come to the realization that retirement is not that far away, and perhaps your finances aren't in the shape that you would like them to. And the way you want to start taking control of that is having a look at starting to invest. Potentially you've got 20-25 years left of working. This is your power time to start, right? It is never too late. I honestly believe it is never too late. And if you're intentional about what you do, starting now gives you time to still build serious wealth into your retirement. It potentially will also give you the option of retiring a little bit early if that's what you want to do. First of all, let's go over the pitfalls, the 3 things that you don't need to do. You don't need to become a trader. That means you don't need to be spending hours a day in front of a computer looking at charts, working out what's doing what, trying to learn how to trade, trying to outperform the market. Don't forget, whatever age you are, and you're probably a little bit wiser and smarter now, the potential is that you're still going to underperform the market. That's just the reality of it. Over 90% of people do. If you get sucked into the likes of CFD accounts or trading or any of these grifters online, you are probably going to lose money. You're not going to make it. Second thing is you don't actually need to pick individual stocks. Right, so this is not around, again, trying to outperform the market, trying to find the next Nvidia. Again, you will probably underperform if you try to do that. Unless you are in the top 5% of investors in the world, you're probably going to do worse than you would do if you just kept it as simple as possible. And the third thing is you don't necessarily need to put thousands in all at once right at the beginning. Now, you might have that sort of money, and good for you if you do, go for it. But the majority of us don't. The average salary within this age band is around £40,000. So it's not going to be, we're not going to be in a position where we're going to be able to be putting £20,000 in one go. But what the key is here is consistency and, again, intention. What you do need to do at this point is make sure you got an emergency fund. I know that's boring. I was made redundant 3 months ago, and thankfully, because I had an emergency fund, it hasn't caused an issue as much as it would have done. So have 3 to 6 months worth of cash on the side, because anything can happen, right? There's a lot of redundancies going on. Your car could blow up tomorrow. I don't know why I give that example. It's not going to blow up. Your car's not going to blow up. But anything can happen. And you need to be in a position where you can weather that storm if it does come. It also gives you an immense sense of comfort knowing that you've got that cash, sat in cash, on the sidelines should anything go wrong. Again, another boring one, but it is absolutely important because we are getting closer to being able to access our private pension. It's going to be 55 to 57 depending upon your gender and age. That then means that we should be maxing out our pension contributions, especially if we're getting employer matches. If we are employed on a PAYE scheme, maxing out the pension contributions, because it is the most tax efficient way of putting money into the market. If you're self-employed, you should also make sure that you've got a SIP, so self-invested personal pension. It sounds much more complicated than it is. InvestEngine offer a great one. There's a link in my bio if you want to use that. You'll get a welcome bonus if you do deposit £100 into that. But basically, you're getting an immediate return either from your employer or the government, or both if you are employed through PAYE. So it is absolutely worth doing. And also make sure that you are not in the default fund in your pension provider. Now, perhaps you are, perhaps you don't know, perhaps you've already changed it, but have a look at the performance. Log into your pension account, have a look at the performance versus an all-world index over the course of the last 20 years, which is probably what you've been working, and see if it is worthwhile keeping your funds in that or exploring what other options might be. Now, once you've done those two things, at this point we need to open a stocks and shares ISA. We've talked about it a million times because of obviously they are the most tax efficient way of investing outside of a pension. Now, they also mean that you're going to be able to access your cash whenever you want. So if you have got a goal, if you're 40 and you have got a goal and you want to retire by your 50, by the time you're 50, you need to use the stocks and shares ISA because you're not going to be able to access the money that's within your pension. But within an ISA, you can take it out whenever you want. I use Trading 2 and 2, and there'll be no fees for doing so. So there's no fees when you sell. You don't need to fill in the self-assessment form. You just take that cash out, and within a couple of days, it's yours. Now we need to pick our investments. Now, I can't tell you what to invest in. However, I'm going to leave a link below to a one-pager that you can download that's going to help you to go through everything that is necessary in order to pick a fund, to start investing, to use tax-efficient account, all that sort of good stuff. So that one page will be below. That's going to help you get started with choosing what investments you want to go for. Now, I keep it as simple as possible at this point. The vast majority of my capital is within two funds. An all world, FTWG is the one that I use. That's an Invesco all world. I use that because it's cheap. 0.15% in terms of fees. And I have an S&P 500, which I use, which is VUSA, which is the Vanguard version. It's a little bit more expensive than the Invesco version, but I use that to diversify my two biggest assets across a couple of different fund providers. Now, obviously, there's going to be volatility in the market. We need to be aware of that. We need to understand that our positions could go down over the next couple of years. We could see 3 or 4 years worth of declines. No one knows what's going to happen. And that's hard when you get closer to retirement. But you must stay consistent and keep going. With reinvested dividends and growth in those funds are going to set you up for retirement. Now, there's no guarantee. We've talked about 9%, 10% returns on average in the past. There's no guarantee we're going to see that going forward. But if we do get those similar sort of levels, you're going to be laughing by the time you come to retirement. What we're doing here is we're planting a tree, right? We're not planting an oak because we didn't start at 18. If we were doing that, that would be great. And we'd have a great big mighty oak by the time we were 60 or 70. We're going to be planting something a little bit that grows a little bit faster, a northern spruce. So we are still planting a tree. Now, the best time to do it was 20 years ago, but we're doing it today. And we are still going to get a lot of leaves on that tree, a lot of growth on that tree. Things are going to be okay. Now, how much do we need to invest? Well, that depends upon your circumstances completely, and everyone is going to be different in terms of the amount of capital that they have available to invest, their circumstances, their job security. Have you still got kids? Have you got an extortionate mortgage? Where do you live in the country? All this sort of stuff. But let's give a couple of examples. If you do start at 40 and you can find £500 a month, which I know is a lot of money, but we're taking this stuff seriously now, and you put that away on a consistent basis into an all world fund like the one I use, FTWG, and you do that until you're 60. So we're knocking 8 years off state pension age. So that's 20 years worth of investment. You're going to end up with £250,000. Now that's assuming a 7% growth. So it's inflation adjusted and it's pretty conservative. It could do more than that. It could do less than that. But £250,000 by the time we're 60, that's a pretty good head start. If you were in a fortunate enough position to be able to put £800 a month, by the time you were then 60, you're going to end up with 400k. Now we are getting into serious cash. That is a lot of money. And if we use a drawdown method on that, that's going to last us quite a long time already. Now, there's some mistakes that we need to avoid. And if we're new to investing, everyone makes them. So let's just get them out of the way now. Waiting for the perfect time to invest. There is no perfect time. I know there's a lot of conflict and there's a lot of uncertainty going on in the world right now, but there always is. There always has been, and there always will be. And there'll always be news articles and reasons for you not to want to start. You need to ignore that noise and you need to just do it anyway. Honestly, the perfect time does not exist. The perfect time is today. It is now. Open that account right now. And equally, we need to avoid overreacting to dips. Now, because our time horizon is a little bit less than someone starting at 18, there's going to be a little bit more uncertainty and a little bit more nervousness, perhaps. Dips happen all the time, right? The market dropped by 20% in April. That's just 2 months ago. It dropped by 20%, and we are just short of all-time highs again. In 2022, the market reached all-time highs 70 times over the course of that year, but there were significant drops. Even in 2023, when the market was really unstable, it still reached all-time highs. We focus on the drops. We don't focus on the all-time highs. It won't be in the news this week if the S&P 500 reaches an all-time high. It just won't. But if it drops by 5%, it'll be front page of the bloody Daily Mail. We need to ignore that noise. We need to not overreact when we see drops in the market. And the third one is a really appropriate one for people in our age group, and that is trying to avoid high-risk catch-up investments. We feel like we're a little bit behind, perhaps, and we need to try and find something that's going to 10x in the next few years. That spells disaster. As simple as that. So I see a lot of people actually within my age group thinking exactly like this, right? I'm behind. I'm starting now. I need to catch up. I'm behind everyone else. What can I do to try and outsize my growth? You are probably going to significantly underperform just buying an all-world index by doing exactly that. So try and avoid that sort of behavior. Boring beats brilliant as long as you stick with it, I promise. So finally, just to finish, so your 40s are a time to reset and start taking control. We're probably, like I said, a little bit wiser now when we're facing into this and we want to take control. It's your time to do it now. The second thing is you've probably got a little bit more disposable cash. So instead of buying that brand new Mercedes, joining that expensive golf club, just use a little bit of that cash instead to start making a plan for your future. And the last one, this is really important to me. So I started at 37, so kind of a little bit behind, but I've done okay. I've built a 6-figure portfolio in just 5 years. This last one is you must not obsess about what you should have done, right? The time has passed. It's gone. Don't worry about it. You are taking control now. You're taking control today. That is the most important thing. Don't worry about what you should have done in the past because you're dealing with it now. And you are, if you do start, still well ahead of the curve. Most people end up with a pension pot of around £80,000. And if you start this now, you could have a pretty decent pension pot in your private pension, as well as a stocks and shares ISA. That's going to make for an extremely comfortable retirement. Right, anyone that's watched the channel before, yeah, I'm in the shed. So I did do it up. I did a TikTok on it the other day. Well, I say did it up. I just tidied it up and put some posters on the wall. Right, let's have a look. Oh, I've got camera thing on, but there it is. If there's any interest. Nice sunny day today. We've got me Pepsi fridge over there. What else we got? Not much really. Right, listen. What the hell I'm doing. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you all again soon.